You think you've seen courtroom drama? Think again. This judge isn't just mad, he's furious. Miss Scogan walks into court with an attitude, and within minutes the judge absolutely loses it. Why? Because she's frustrated about a police officer entering her house. But when she tries to explain, things take a shocking turn. This isn't your first time in trouble, Miss Scogan, the judge snaps. And when you hear his next words, you'll understand why this moment went viral. 120 days in jail, unless you follow these strict rules. Stay tuned to see how it all ends. And trust me, you won't believe the final warning.
Miss Scroggin, I'm troubled by your attitude.
I'm sorry, I'm really upset.
Well,
because it all came from from the officer entering my house. Like, no, it's okay. Yeah, I'm just really upset, and I guess that's not understandable.
We are on the record in 2024 TR 395, State versus Wood. Mr. Regier is before, defendant still failing to appear. Mr. Wood or Mr. Regier?
Yes, Your Honor. This is a case where a motion for judgment on bond was filed with the court back in January. The attached notice of hearing appears to refer to the defendant as well as today's date and time, March 17th, 2025 at 9 a.m. I do appear to have an affidavit of service by certified mail that does appear to include a local address that does appear to correspond with the address on the appearance bond, which does appear to be for $1,000 OR. The attached document that I have attached to the affidavit of service does appear to include an indication stating, quote, return to sender, attempted, not known, unable to forward. Under those circumstances, the state will defer to the court as to how it wishes to proceed.
Motion for judgment on bond is granted.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Back on the
one, you're not ready for this courtroom drama. Guys, buckle up, because what you're about to watch is absolutely insane. This courtroom moment takes a wild turn, and trust me, you won't believe what happens. Before we dive into the action, make sure you smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss more real-life courtroom chaos like this. Now, let's set the scene. It all starts with Miss Scogan. She's standing in front of the judge, and you can already feel the tension. You can tell she's frustrated and she's got something on her mind. But here's the thing. The judge? He's not here for excuses. He's clearly fed up with her attitude. And it's about to get heated. The case, what's going on? Miss Scogan is in court for possession of marijuana, and she's pleading no contest. Basically, she's accepting the charges without technically admitting guilt. Now, this might seem like a routine case, but it's not the charge that causes the drama. It's Miss Scogan's attitude and
record in 24 CR 189, State of Kansas versus Heather Lynn Scroggin. Jared Regier for the state. Darren Patterson for the defendant, who also appears in person. Please proceed.
Your Honor, when announced at this time, Ms. Scroggin will enter a plea of no contest to the one count of possession of marijuana.
Ms. Scroggin, is that right? You want to plead no contest to one count of possession of marijuana?
Yeah. Yes, Your Honor.
Are you pleading guilty because you want to?
No contest.
No one's making you? Oh, I'm sorry. You're pleading no contest? Are you pleading guilty of your own free will without any kind of force or pressure by anyone else?
No.
You understand you're giving up your right to trial and won't be able to appeal any convictions that result from this plea?
Yep.
Good. All right, I'll find her plea knowingly and voluntarily entered. Mr. Regier?
Yes, Your Honor. I mean, for purposes, has the court accepted the no contest plea?
The court does accept a no contest plea if you'll
Thank you, Your Honor.
provide a factual basis.
Thank you, Your Honor. For purposes of a factual basis, the affidavit in this matter does appear to refer to an encounter with law enforcement occurring on March 18th of 2024. Pursuant to paragraph 5, the defendant was located at a particular address in Augusta, Butler County, Kansas, thereby giving this court with jurisdiction.
In my house.
In her house in Augusta, Kansas.
And additionally, Your Honor, pursuant to paragraph 7 of the affidavit, upon being Mirandized, the defendant admitted that she obtained a certain item of marijuana while in another state, as well as detailed to law enforcement how she made how she obtained such an item.
All right, I find the defendant guilty. Recommendations for sentencing.
Yes, Your Honor. Pursuant to plea negotiations, the state is prepared to recommend no fine, that the court assess court costs as well as make a determination on the issue of attorney's fees. It is the state's understanding that this is the case where KBI restitution does apply. The state is further recommending 120 days underlying sentence with 6 months of reporting probation, subject to all standard conditions, including that the defendant be ordered to complete a drug and alcohol evaluation, as well as the standard $60 probation fee.
Mr. Patterson?
Nothing further, Judge.
Okay, where do you work, ma'am?
In Wichita at USD 259.
Are you a teacher there?
Yep.
All right. What grade do you teach?
First grade.
First grade. All right. At this time, I will not give you a fine, but I will order you a suspended sentence of 120 days. I will grant you 6 months probation, that if you complete that successfully, you will not have to serve 120 days in jail. You're not given a fine, as I said, but you will have to pay $400 up to the KBI. Mr. Regier, you are retained or appointed?
Forgive
So
me, Your
even
Honor. I believe I am in the role as prosecutor for this case.
I'm appointed, Judge.
How the judge reacts that makes this courtroom moment explode. Suddenly, the judge pauses, looks directly at Miss Scogan and says, "Miss Scogan, I am troubled by your attitude." Boom. You can see it all over her face. Miss Scogan is caught off guard. She quickly tries to explain herself, saying she's just really upset because she's frustrated about a police officer entering her house without warning. But the judge? He's not letting her off the hook that easily. The judge's strict warning, at this point, things take a serious turn. The judge lays down the law, telling Miss Scogan exactly what's going to happen, and it's not looking good for her. He's clearly losing patience, and he explains the consequences she's facing, 120 days in jail. But wait, there's a catch. The judge gives her a chance to avoid jail time if she follows some strict probation rules. And when I say strict, I mean strict. Let me break it down. Stay clean. No drugs, no alcohol, absolutely nothing. Random drug tests. She'll have to take random drug tests, including a hair follicle test, which can detect drug use for up to 90 days. No drug users allowed. She's not even allowed to be around other people who use drugs. If she's caught violating any of these terms, it's straight to jail.
All right, thank you, Mr. Patterson. All right, $400 KBI fee, $250 appointed attorney fees, not for Mr. Regier, but for Mr. Patterson.
And I paid a lot of fees already for this ticket, and then so this is already in addition. This is going to be in addition to all those fees that I've already paid.
Are you maybe thinking about all you've paid on your traffic diversion in the prior case?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not this case. That diversion was a totally different issue. And that one...
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good. All right. So
yeah, that driving while suspended had different conditions and failed to yield had different conditions. This one is the possession of marijuana. And so $400 to the KBI, $250 to a court-appointed attorney fees, $153 to court costs, $60 to probation supervision fee.
crazy.
Excuse me?
Is there going to be a way is this going to be the only way I'm going to be able to find out all the fees, or is there going to be another way to find out? So, because I just have 400, 250, 153, 60. Like, is there going to be another way besides talking to you, or is this like the only way to figure out my fees, just so I have them all down? Or like a timeline of when I'm going to be able to pay all this or anything?
Well, I'm going to tell them to you. If you need me to add them for you instead of doing it yourself, I can do that. I've already done that. $400 to the KBI, $250 to the court-appointed attorney fund, $153 court costs, $60 probation supervision fee, for a total of $863. if my math is correct, I believe it is, but the clerk will double check me. And then you can triple check the clerk if you don't trust that.
Yeah, I will.
Oh, okay. And you can also check with your your probation officer. And
Will do.
Miss Scroggin, I'm troubled by your attitude.
I'm sorry. I'm really upset
Well,
because it all came from from the officer entering my house. Like, no, it's okay. Yeah, I'm just really upset, and I guess that's not understandable. I'm sorry. I wouldn't want you to take any more time. We've already. I know there's been a lot going on, so thank you. I'm sorry, I'm upset, and having a hard time masking my emotions. I apologize.
Your sentence is, as I told you, 120 days. You can serve that in jail unless you successfully complete your probation, which is for 6 months. You must call probation immediately after this hearing. Their number is 316-322-4153. You are required to follow all standards.
For 120 days, no questions asked. Now this is where things get even more intense. Miss Scogin is clearly frustrated, and she starts to push back. She questions why she's being treated so harshly and brings up the fact that a police officer entered her home without warning. She seems to think that she was in the clear after resolving a previous case, but the judge isn't having it. The judge reminds her that this isn't her first time in trouble with the law. He brings up her past charges, which include driving without a license and failing to yield. He's trying to make a point. This isn't about one small mistake. It's about a pattern of behavior. Then, in one of the most intense moments of the hearing, the judge says, "Maybe you think these laws are petty, but you need to follow them." And you can just feel the tension in the room. Miss Scogin tries to stay calm, but it's clear that she's struggling to keep her frustration in check. Before wrapping up, the judge gives Miss Scogin one final no-nonsense warning. He tells her that if she acts this way with her probation officer, she'll be heading straight to jail for 120 days. No second chances, no excuses. And then, in a total mic drop moment, the judge says, "Follow the rules, or you're going to jail." The case is closed, but the debate is just beginning, and just like that, the case is closed. For now. But here's the big question. Was the judge being too harsh, or was he just doing his job? Did Miss Scogin deserve that strict lecture, or do you think she was treated unfairly? I want to hear what you think. Drop your thoughts in the weighty comments. Let's talk about it. Was the judge right to lay down the law like that, or should he have handled things differently? And hey, if you're into crazy courtroom moments like this, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. There are plenty more wild legal cases coming your way, and trust me, you won't want to miss them.
Conditions, which they will go over them with you. You are to get an alcohol and drug evaluation. I want you to have that scheduled within 14 days. You don't have to have it started, but you need to call within 14 days and get it scheduled, and you have to comply with what it says. You have to sign any and all necessary paperwork, consent, so the agencies that are working with you and court services can freely exchange information to make sure you're doing well on your probation. You are to use absolutely no alcohol or illegal drugs, whether you buy them in Missouri, Colorado, Oklahoma. They're still illegal under federal law, and it's still illegal to use them in Kansas. It's illegal to possess them, so do not use them, possess them. You cannot even go to Missouri and smoke a joint while you're in Missouri. Do you understand that?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but that's the way it's going to be. And I'm going to make you get random UAs. And you're going to start with a hair follicle test and I want your counts to see how dirty you are today, to make sure that if you go up, we know you're using. So you better go down on those counts. Like I said, I don't want you going over there to Oklahoma, Colorado, some of those states and getting high and thinking you're beating your probation.
Yeah.
You're not to be around people that are using. So if you're living with someone that uses, that person has to stop using or use it somewhere far away from you. They can't have it in the house. They can't use it around you. Not in the car, nothing. And Mr. Regier, make sure you please get in the journal entry that she's to get a hair follicle within the next couple of days. I'd say within 48 hours, hair follicle in her first UA with mammogram counts to see if she goes up or down.
Or
And
this is an officer coming inside my house and finding a joint that I brought from out of state. That's
so you don't think you
for a
did
court date. For a court date, I missed, and I was told that I was good to go for my diversion. When I called the diversion people, then the cops show up, and they come into my house without saying they're coming in. Just, it's crazy that you're treating me like this. Like, I've
treating you like you broke the law? Maybe you did. Yes, you did. All right. And it's not the first time because I had you in here in 23 as well. For driving without a license and not yielding in a stop or yield sign. So you need to, maybe these laws seem petty to you and that you don't really need to worry about them, but you do. All right. Anything else, Mr. Regier?
Not on this matter, Judge.
And I will tell you, Ms. Scroggin, if you approach your probation and your probation officers, as you have done me today, there's a high probability that you'll be back here with a motion to revoke your probation and to serve your 120 days. Because that's what I typically see when people take the attitude that they're above the law and they don't have to follow the laws they don't like. That being said, call your probation officer as soon as you hang up from this call. This call is concluded unless, Mr. Patterson, you have anything further.
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, we are in recess. You are excused from these proceedings, Ms. Scroggin.